Good morning and welcome to online worship with the Unitarian Universalist Church of Berkeley. My name is Reverend Kristen Grassel-Schmidt. I am one of the co-ministers of this congregation, and this is Christian, my husband, the other co-minister. This is a welcoming congregation, and we are always working on how to welcome and care for one another better.
When we're not under a shelter-in-place order, this congregation has in-person worship at Sundays at 11 a.m. But thankfully, the church is a community, not a building, so whether we gather in person or here online, it is good to be together.
Before we really get started, please take a moment and prepare for worship. Go grab a candle and a way to light it, if you can, so that you can kindle your own flame when we light our chalice in a few minutes. Also, please participate in the service by typing in the comments section when we invite you to do so.
We hope your worship experience today is a smooth one, but we know sometimes technical issues pop up. If you run into trouble connecting, please send a private message to the UUCB Facebook page. While we don't have a team of professional producers to make our videos for us, we are so thankful for the collaboration of so many staff and volunteers, and for everyone who joins us in virtual community.
Now, let's join together in singing Gather the Spirit. The words will be on your screen.
Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit, harvest the power, our separate fire will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour, our trials in this life appear all the same.
Now, whether you have your candle ready or you're lighting the inner chalice in your heart, let us light our chalice together. I invite you to share in the comments where you are by writing, "I carry the flame in," whatever town or city you are joining us from. I light this chalice with words by the Reverend Leslie Takahashi, minister of Mount Diablo UU Church, the other UU congregation in Contra Costa County. All that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy in this life we share. Let us say our covenant together. Love guides this church. The quest for truth and justice is its common purpose. To give thanks, listen deeply, speak with care, honor our differences, and seek and grant forgiveness. These things we covenant with one another.
Good morning, my friends. My name is Catherine Boyle, and I am honored to be the Acting Director of Family Ministry here at UUCB. My pronouns are she, hers, hers. And I have a story today called The Journey of the Birds. And since I'm telling this story about birds, I have a little friend who's going to help me tell this story. Now, this story is very old. It was inspired by a well-known poem written hundreds of years ago by a Persian Sufi writer named Farruddin Attar. So, let's begin. Once upon a time, all the birds in the land found that they needed a new leader. So, all the representatives of all the bird species, they got together and they decided what kind of leader they wanted. "Our leader must be wise," said the owl. "Our leader must know all the right things to do," said the robin. "Our leader must believe that we are each important, big and small," said the sparrow. "The leader should know how to make everyone happy, and how to deal with the troublesome birds among us," said the jay. "I want the leader to be caring, like Fran," said the dove. "The leader must make us feel safe," said the hawk. "I know where you can find a leader who can do all those things," said the hoopoe bird. "It's Mort, and it lives far, far away from here." The birds, they were very excited, and they were willing to go anywhere to find Smorg. "It may be dangerous," said the hoopoe. "Few birds look trouble," but all the birds voted to go and find Smorg. The hoopoe bird took off into the air, and the other birds followed. Oh man, they flew for quite a long time, through the day and through the night, and some of the birds, they got really tired and just left the group. Other birds, became filled with doubt on this long journey. Had lots of time to think, how did they know that this s'morg really existed? I don't know. Only the hoopoe bird had ever even heard of this bird. So some of the doubters, they dropped out, but others, they kept flying. One day, after a long, long flight, they came upon a large, fiery mountain. The birds, they were quite afraid. I'm too small to make it over the mountain, cried the sparrow. It's okay. Keep flying. We can make it together if we all work together. And they did. The strong flyers helped the weak flyers, and the birds with good vision, they helped find food for the group. Along the journey, all the birds learned how to better respect and care and share for each other, with and for each other. They learned how to manage conflicts between each other, and it seemed like every bird, no matter how big or how small, had something special, something unique to offer that made the journey easier for everyone. Finally, the hoopoe bird announced, "We're here!" And the other birds, they looked around in anticipation. But they saw no bird. "Where is Sporgo? We don't see it," said the bird. "Come over here." "It's over here," said the hoopoe. The birds, they stood beside the hoopoe and realized that they were standing on the edge of a lake. They looked down into the water and they saw their own reflections. And then finally, all the birds, they understood. No bird could possibly do everything that they wanted their leader to do. It's just not possible. But if all the birds worked together like they learned to do on the journey, they could meet the needs of the community. The s'morg was no bird. It wasn't just one bird, it was all of the birds. All of them were s'morg. Each of them had something good and something special to offer the community. And so with their new leader. It was the gift of all of them together that would lead them into the future. Bye, friends.
The nightingale has a heart of gold, the lark is a clarion call, and the blackbird plays but a boxwood flute. But I love him best of all, for the song is all of the joy of life, and we in the mad spring weather, we too have listened till he sang our hearts and lips
Take a moment to prepare yourself for our time of prayer and reflection. Get comfortable in your seat. Get all those little last wiggles out. Take a deep breath or two, perhaps. I share today with you a poem called A Blessing for Safety by Rosemary Morrison. But first, I want to give a greeting and thank you from all of our people, but especially from Hazel Gonick. She wanted to thank everyone for all the birthday cards she has received. They really made her feel to be a part of this congregation in a way she had not felt before. Again, these words from Rosemary Morrison. Spirit of love and life, these are trying times, and sometimes we are at wit's end trying to figure out what to do. We have all this extra time, and we are busier than we have ever been. We think we need to accomplish so much during this time of physical distancing, and we find ourselves exhausted beyond words. We are grateful we can work from home, and we are scared beyond belief as we don't know where our next paycheck is coming from. We are grateful to those who grow, transport, and stock the food on shelves for us. May they be safe. May they be well. We're grateful for all the healthcare workers walking into the storm to keep us safe. We acknowledge the fear they must feel as one who cannot stay out of harm's way. May they be safe. May they be well. We're grateful for all those who are helping to make masks and to shop for those who aren't able, for those contributing food to those in need, and for those who are distributing food and offering help to those in need. May they be safe. May they be well. We ask a special blessing on all those who are deemed essential workers. We are grateful for their service. May they be safe. May they be well. We're grateful for this community of love and connection. May this time remind us of how much we mean to one another. Thank you for this means to stay connected, for being able to see one another's face and hear one another's voice. May we be safe. May we be well. May we be comforted and buoyed up with the love that permeates this community. May we all be safe. May we all be well. So may it be. Amen.
Today's reading is Anyone's Ministry by Reverend Gordon B. McKeeman. Ministry is a quality of relationship between and among human beings that beckons forth hidden possibilities, inviting people into deeper, more constant, more reverent relationship with the world and with one another, carrying forward a long heritage of hope and liberation that has dignified and informed the human venture over many centuries, being present with, to, and for others in their terrors and torments, in their grief, misery, and pain, knowing that those feelings are our feelings too. Celebrating the triumphs of the human spirit, the miracles of birth and life, the wonders of devotion and sacrifice. Witnessing to life-enhancing values, speaking truth to power. Speaking for human dignity and equity, for compassion and aspiration. Believing in life in the presence of death. Struggling for human responsibility against principalities and structures that ignore humaneness and become instruments of death. It is all these and much, much more than all of them, present in the wordless, the unspoken, the ineffable. It is speaking and living the highest we know, and living with the knowledge that it is never as deep or as wide or as high as we wish. Whenever there is a meeting that summons us to our better selves, wherever our lostness is found, our fragments are united, our wounds begin healing, our spines stiffen, and our muscles grow strong for the task, there is ministry.
Easter's a big day at our house, every year. And even though it wasn't the same, last Sunday was no exception. We had a delicious breakfast together, enjoyed candy brought by the Easter Bunny, whom we were assured was, in fact, an essential employee after all. The kids hunted for eggs in our front yard, and we enjoyed a nice holiday dinner as a family. And through it all, like I do every holiday, I found myself thinking about how much our kids have grown up since last year.
It's funny, the terms we use to describe our children. First they're babies, then they're toddlers and preschoolers, now they're grade schoolers. Or are they? Like most of us during these uncertain days, the kids all seem a bit more interested in snuggling, in hugs, in having things done for them that they really know how to do for themselves. But the little kid in each of them is slipping away, day by day, and they are learning how to do more and more things independently. And I'm cherishing this in-between time. While they're not little anymore, but they're not really independent yet either.
Liminal time is a term that describes the uncertain or transitional periods in our lives. Liminal spaces are like in-between times. We stand on the threshold between the old and the new, between the known and the unknown. It's a time of waiting and ripening and unpredictability.
In many ways, this pandemic has thrust us all into a liminal space of kinds. We're no longer living the way that we used to, and we're all waiting to see how things will land on the other side of sheltering in place. We also know that our big announcement a few days ago has moved this congregation into its own kind of liminal space. We sent a letter to everyone in the congregation this week, letting you know that after deep discernment, I've accepted the invitation to be the ministerial candidate at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Silver Spring, Maryland. The Silver Spring Church is just a 15-minute drive away from my parents. The school district is one of the best in the country, and the cost of living is less than it is in the Bay Area.
Every shared ministry has its challenges and conflicts, and ours with you has been no exception, but that's not why we're leaving. As hard as some days have been proud to be your ministers. We're proud of the ways we've served justice and our neighbors together with you, the wonderful worship we've created together with you, the fabulous staff team we've built with you, and the family ministry we've developed and honed with you. Like the birds in our time for all ages today, this congregation has been changed and transformed by welcoming the gifts and strength that everyone brings to bear. We have brought particular gifts to UUCB's shared ministry. In a few months when we leave, your next minister or ministers will bring their own special gifts to share.
Our hope for the time that we have left together, even during these unusual and uncertain days of sheltering in place, is that we celebrate the good ministry that we have all done together. May you all carry with you the gifts that we have offered, just as we will carry the gifts and wisdom and experience we have received from so many of you. For the learning and worship and service that we do together in any religious community is not just about us. It's not just about serving those who call themselves members and friends of this congregation. It's not even just about the wider communities that we exist to serve. Our mission contributes to a great stream of shared ministry that flowed through the lives of the prophets and will flow through the lives of people we can't even imagine yet. It is the work of ministry, work which UUCB will continue even after we leave, work we will continue in new places with new people, work that will continue even after every one of us is gone.
For this ministry that challenges and blesses and unites us, we give thanks. Amen.
Pretty planet spinning to space, our garden, our harbor, our holy place.
Golden sun going down, gentle blue giants spin us around.
All through the night, safe till the morning light.
Like every other organization in these days of sheltering in place, UUCB is experiencing a loss in income. Rental income is down because we can't allow people to use our space, and some members and friends of our congregation have had to hold off on making donations and paying pledges until they can go back to work. We understand that this is a hard time for many people, and we hope you will reach out to one of the ministers if you could use some financial aid from the minister's discretionary fund. It's more important now than ever for those whose income hasn't been affected to give generously and maybe even make an extra pledge payment or two. Our board and staff are exploring many options to help maintain funding for the ministries and programs we love, but it's going to take all of us digging in deep in whatever way we can to support this congregation so that it can continue offering support to those in need. Additionally, UUCB is honoring our commitment to our Good Neighbor organizations, even in these financially challenging days, because they also need support, now more than ever. This month, we're sharing half our offerings with the Women's Cancer Resource Center. The Women's Cancer Resource Center helps women with cancer improve quality of life through education, supportive services, and practical assistance. They serve people with any form of cancer from all backgrounds, economic levels, and ethnicities. Clients include people with new diagnoses, people in remission, those living with metastatic disease, and those receiving end-of-life care. Whether you can make an offering of $1 or $1,000 or somewhere in between, all offerings are given and received with gratitude. More details on how to electronically give will appear on your screen as our offertory begins. Thank you. Please join me in dedicating our offering to the mission of this congregation. We dedicate this offering and ourselves to the mission of this congregation, to create a loving community, inspire spiritual growth, and encourage lives of integrity, joy, and service.
It has been so good to be together in praise and song today. Before we leave, I have just a few important announcements to share with you. First, an email went out to the congregation earlier this week informing you that Reverend Kristen and I will be leaving. She is the candidate for minister at the UU Church of Silver Spring, Maryland, just a few minutes from where she grew up and where her parents still live. While we're excited to be joining our family there and looking forward to new opportunities, we're very sad to leave here too. And we love and appreciate the shared ministry we've done together so much. It's been such a joy to serve as your ministers. Know also that we'll be here through June 15th, doing these online worships and being available to talk to you. To that end, the board has already this week put together an interim search team to seek an interim minister for the congregation to serve next year. That team is already hard at work putting together its materials and will be vetting potential candidates and will suggest one or more to the board, who will then decide whether or not to hire that person. If you have any questions about this, feel free to be in touch with the board. After service today at Virtual Coffee Hour on Zoom, 2 of our regional staff members, that is the people who work for the UUA in this region of the country, will be available to answer questions and talk about the process. We invite you to be a part of that conversation today. And now, please join with me in singing our closing hymn, I Know I Can. The words will appear on your screen in just a moment. May the blessings of this ministry we share together as a congregation be in us and with us today and every day.
And now, our worship is ended and our service begins.